Hello, Kababayan, and hello, YouTubers. Today, we're going to be talking about dual citizenship. And the example that I'm going to use is the American acquiring the Filipino citizenship, making that person a dual citizenship. I'll be discussing the U.S. law pertaining to the dual citizenship, the advantages and disadvantages of being a dual citizenship, and finally, I'll be discussing the who's eligible to become a Filipino dual citizenship. And then on the next video, I will focus on how to apply for dual citizenship. But for now, I just want to introduce those three main topics that I just mentioned earlier. So first, I want to establish some words to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. For example, when I mention nationality, I'm referring to the country of the citizenship, not the race. Also, when I say naturalize, I mean the citizenship. Okay, so let's start off with the U.S. law. How does the U.S. law look at the dual citizenship? What does it say about it? Well, U.S. law, there is no law against a person being a dual citizenship, and U.S. does not require a person to choose one nationality over the other. So you can naturalize in a foreign state without risking your citizenship. So if you want to become a Filipino citizen, then it doesn't. You don't risk your U.S. citizenship, so it'll be okay. So how do you lose your U.S. citizenship? So that would be a question that I would bring up if I was going to be a dual citizenship. So how does a person lose their U.S. citizenship? Well, according to the law requires you to become, at first, be 18 years old. You can't do it at a younger age. So number one, if you want to lose your citizenship, you got to be minimum 18 years old. And you have to apply to a foreign nationality voluntarily and with the intent to relinquish U.S. nationality. And the intent, it could be shown by the person's statement or statements and conduct. Okay, so that's how you lose your citizenship. Another thing also is when you become a dual citizenship, you owe allegiance to both the U.S. and the Philippines. You must obey their laws. So if you're here in the U.S., you obey the U.S. laws. When you go to the Philippines, you have to obey the Philippine law. Now, the problem with being a dual citizenship or having a dual citizenship, if you do, if you come across or something happened to you in the Philippines and somehow something turned bad, I can't think of anything right now. Let's say it was against the law in the Philippines and the Philippines is trying to get you. You can ask U.S., go to U.S. Embassy to help you out because you're American. But because you're a dual citizen, U.S. effort to help you will be hampered. But totally not be able to help you. They're able to help you because you are still a U.S. citizen, but because they have to respect the Philippine law. So their efforts and their assistance to you may be hampered. Okay? So keep that in mind. So if you are in the Philippines, you break the law, I want you to think about what I just said earlier. All right, so you as a U.S. citizen, when you leave the U.S., you use the passport. And then for you to come back in the U.S., you use the U.S. passport. You don't use the Filipino passport. Okay, so in and out of U.S., you use the U.S. passport. Okay. So let's talk about embassy and consulate. Since you're going to be traveling internationally, you got to understand embassy and consulate. So, embassy is the representative of a country, and an embassy they always placed in the capital of the other country. So, let me give you an example. So, Philippines, they have the Philippine embassy, and they place it in the capital of United States. So the capital of United States is Washington D.C. So if you want the Philippine embassy, if you want to go there, it'll be in Washington D.C. because that's the capital of United States. So just remember that the U.S. embassy, excuse me, a country that has an embassy in a different country, it'll be placed in the capital of the other country. So let's use that as an example. So US has an embassy. So if they have a US embassy in the Philippines, it'll be in the capital of the Philippines, which is Manila. So let's say you're in the you're in the Philippines, for example. You're in trouble with the law or whatever, and you need the US assistance. All you have to do is ask, where's your capital at? Oh, it's Manila. Oh, okay, take me to Manila because that's where the U.S. Embassy will be at. So that's pretty much the practice right now. So the embassies for each country, and if they go to a different foreign country, normally they're placed in the capital of that foreign country. So consulate is more of a satellite. So here in United States, the Philippine embassy is in Washington D.C. and then the satellite of the embassy, the Philippine embassy, will be called consulate, and they're going to be placed around the United States, like L.A. and San Francisco, and so on. I don't know the other places, but that's what it is. So embassy is the bigger brother, and then the consulate are the little brothers. So you could use that, put in your head as a as a reminder, so you understand. If you get in trouble, you look for the embassy. All right, let's talk about the advantages of being a Filipino citizen. Well, if you're in the Philippines, you're treated like a normal, regular Filipino. That means you have no limit in buying lands or property. And then you don't have no limit of staying there because you're a Filipino. You don't have to leave the country after 1 year. You can stay there as long as you want. And then another advantage of being a dual citizen is that you can work in the Philippines. If you're an attorney, for example, you can practice your law over there if you studied law over there. So you pretty much you live like a Filipino over there. And another thing that as an advantage is your foreign spouse. You can bring them to the Philippines, and they can get an immigrant visa to stay there permanently. And then your kids that are under 18, the time that you become a Filipino citizen again, they also automatically become a Filipino citizen. For example, like me, I lost my citizenship because I became a US citizen. And then I reacquired back my Filipino citizen. And any kids that I have that are younger than 18, minor, they're all automatically given as a Filipino citizenship or recognized as a Filipino citizen. Another one that's an advantage is the Balikbayan program privilege. So a foreign spouse that's married to, let's say, a Filipino citizen, a Filipino citizen can bring the foreign spouse and their kids and go to the Philippines without documents. They just have to bring a marriage certificate, just to prove that they're married. But they don't. They can go over there visa free and stay up to a year or longer. So those are the advantages that I can think of right now. Now the disadvantage, the only thing I can think of right now, which I have been thinking about for the longest time, is if you're a dual citizen, you're subject to the laws of the Philippines. That means you gotta obey the Philippine law. That's the only thing I could think of. And if you need the U.S. Embassy to help, they can help, but they're limited. Like I said earlier, the U.S. help will be hampered. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about is who are eligible to become a Filipino citizen. So this one right here, I need you guys to pay attention. You have to be natural born Filipinos. Excuse me. So what is that? What does that mean? What does a natural born Filipino? I didn't know I was going to take this long to talk about this. All right, so the only people that are eligible to become a Filipino citizen, you have to be natural born Filipinos. So by definition of the Philippine law, a natural born Filipino is a person that is born to a Filipino parent. So it's not pertaining to being born in a location. For example, if you were born in an aircraft, you're in an airplane, you're flying. So which land are you going to claim that you were born in? So they go by your parents' nationality. So if I was in the plane, my mom gave birth to me, they'll look at my dad's nationality, that will become my nationality. So that's what it means. Natural born Filipinos, born to a Filipino citizen, parents, mom or dad. Okay? Now here's a little rule that you guys should keep in mind. If you are born on January 17th, 1973 or later, okay, let me repeat that. If you are born on January 17th, 1973 and later, and your mom or dad at that time you were born is a Filipino citizen, you are a natural born Filipino. Okay? If you were born before January 17, 1973, if you were born before that or earlier, if you're born to a Filipino dad, your father is Filipino citizen, then you are natural born Filipinos. On those that date they didn't count the mom. Okay, so let me repeat that. So if you're born January 17, 1973 or later, either your mom or your dad at that time is a Filipino citizen, then you are a natural born Filipino. If you were born before January 17th, 1973, your dad has to be Filipino citizen at that time so that you will be labeled as natural born Filipinos. All right, let's go next. Dual citizen by birth. So what does that mean? So I'm going to break it down. Dual citizen by birth, it means you're a natural born Filipino, but you were born physically in America, for example. Okay, I want you to think about the rule I just mentioned earlier, but this time this baby was born in America. I'll give you an example. So, natural born Filipino, if you're born 1917th, excuse me, born January 17th, 1973, or later, if your parents, mom or dad is a Filipino citizen, you're automatically a natural born Filipino. Let me cite an example. I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that Manny Pacquiao's wife gave birth in the Philippines. I don't know if it's true, but I heard about it. I don't really care, but that would be a good example. That's the only thing I could think of right now because Manny Pacquiao and his wife are both Filipinos. So anyway, the wife came here to America and gave birth. So according to the Philippine law, after the date January 17th, 1973, anybody that's born after that or on that or after, if you're born to your mom is Filipino or your dad's Filipino, you are dual citizen by birth. Because this is what happens. He was born here in America, automatically he becomes a US citizen. Okay? So Manny Pacquiao's son, or I don't know which kid it was, born here in America, automatically he becomes American citizen. So that's one citizenship. And then the Filipino law, because he was born after January 17th, 1973, his mom or dad is Filipino, he's automatically a natural born Filipino. So there's two citizenship. That's why they call it dual citizenship by birth. So the only thing that Manny Pacquiao or the wife has to do is report the birth to the NSO or PSA, and that would complete his Filipino citizenship, and that would be it. Now, me, I'm using myself as an example. I'm different. I am a RA9225, 9225. Is it 9225? Yeah. So with me, I'm different because I was born and my dad. Okay, hold on. Before I explain this, remember, it's not pertaining to a location, okay? Wherever I'm born, it doesn't matter what location. So I was born regardless of my location, but I was born and my dad is a Filipino citizen when I was born. So I'm naturally born Filipino. Then my mom took me to America when I was young. And then I became a US citizen. So by being a US citizen, I lost the Filipino citizenship. So I lost it. So according to the the Republic Act of 9225, since I lost my Filipino citizenship, I can get it back by taking an oath of allegiance. I'll be, taking an oath of allegiance. I can get it back. So once I get it back, now I'm a dual citizen because now I'm a US and then reacquired the Filipino citizenship. Now I'm dual citizenship. And so that's the difference. So Manny Pacquiao's kid, he was born in America. He's an American citizen right away, automatic. And then his parents was, one of them at least, is a Filipino citizen. So he's automatically a natural born Filipino. So then they classify him as a dual citizen by birth. Me, I was a naturally born Filipino because my dad was Filipino. And then I went to America. I lost my Filipino citizenship because I became a US citizen. And then I regained it back. Now I'm a dual citizen. And the law that allows me to get it back is Republic Act 9225. And the cool thing about this is any of my kids that's under 18 automatically becomes a Filipino citizen as well. Okay, because I turned Filipino citizen. Okay, so that's it for now. I don't want to make a video too long, and you notice it's already 20 minutes. And the next video, I will show you guys how to apply for the dual citizenship. I applied myself. I'm going to tell you it's very easy. Anyways, this Republic Act 225, I think it's RA9225. I'm going to double check because I don't remember if it's RA9225 or RA225. But if I am wrong, I will put it on the description of this video. I will type it in there. Okay, but I think it's RA9225. I deal with numbers all day long, and sometimes I forget. That's my job. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. Please leave me a comment. And I did my best to make sure it was clear that everybody can understand me. And if you guys do have a question or a comment, just leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. And my main purpose here is to educate everybody what this dual citizenship is all about. I just want to thank you guys for your support. And if you guys like this, please pass this along to anybody who's thinking about being a dual citizenship, to get the dual citizenship, or any Filipinos that even though they're born here in America, they have a chance to get their citizenship because they are already a dual citizen by birth. And then if they're like me, that lost the Filipino citizenship, they can get it back. Okay, guys, so thank you so much. I love you, kababayan. I love you, YouTubers. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much. And please subscribe.